Tim isn't running for Congress, he's answering a call to protect, uplift, and to fight for justice. He is a powerhouse civil rights attorney, former law enforcement officer who chose advocacy over complacency, and a relentless champion for those who've been silenced or sidelined. He also is the devoted husband, proud father, and loving grandfather, grounded in family and fueled by purpose. This isn't just a campaign, it's a movement, everyone. A movement to reclaim our communities, restore our faith in leadership, and build a future rooted in equity, safety, and opportunity for all. So let's all rise if you aren't already. Let's make history. Let's stand with Tim Alexander for Congress, the man of the hour.
Thank you. Listen, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all our electeds for saying some wonderful words, coming all the way down from Camden, from Logan, Atlantic City president of the council here. This is so important. We have an assemblywoman here. We have an assemblywoman here. So, and I'm gonna add to Maureen's story. The only thing we did was suggest it. She did the work. She put in the time, she put in the effort, and that's why she's Assemblywoman-elect Roanne. And I love it. So we are, I gotta tell you a story real fast. You know, Anna and I were taking a little easy. I had to go to an event before I came here, and she was coming down here to set things up. So we wanted to listen to something just to inspire us. So Anna played excerpt from President Obama's book. And it just so happened to be the one that I love the most. And in it, he talked about early on in his campaign, and that he was in a hotel room in North Carolina. It was freezing, it was raining, he was dog tired. He opened up the curtain and saw the weather and was like, ah. And then when he was walking to the car to get ready to go to his next stop, his umbrella blew open and he got drenched. And so when he got in the car, he was soaking wet, and he said, how far to the next event? And they said an hour and a half. And he's like, I don't think anything else could go wrong. Well, he walked into the room. It was 8 people in the room. And so he's thinking, all right, well, you know what? I'm here, they're here, we're gonna give a speech. And as he was talking to the crowd, some woman in the back yelled, "Fire it up." And he kind of ignored it, and then she said, "Ready to go." And so he kept talking a little bit more, and she said, "Fire it up." And he just stood there and he said, "Ready to go," and they all erupted, all 8 people. And that became his passion, his fired up, his really his call for action. Fired up and ready to go. And I gotta tell you, we are fired up and we're ready to go. Let me hear it again. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. That's what I love. Because that is what it's gonna take to win this election. The passion, the fire. Yes, I was not gonna, you heard on the video, I had no interest in running again. And quite honestly, I had a lot of conversations with party chairs, and they were like, hey, we really need you to do this. And I said, thank you, no thank you. It wasn't until they passed that bill. And that bill that attacked healthcare in a way that my own child, who had to have a heart transplant at 33 years of age, was on Medicaid because we couldn't afford the COBRA insurance. She couldn't work anymore. And when the hospital turned to us and said, hey, this bill is $2.7 million, your Medicaid's not going to cover it, what are your plans? And Anna and I spent all night into the early morning trying to figure out how we're going to sell our house, our car, our furniture, what our plan was, because we were not going to let our daughter go into medical bankruptcy, and we certainly weren't going to let our daughter die. The next day, Anna, through her experience in dealing with healthcare, found a loophole in Medicaid. And that loophole allowed my daughter to get that surgery. January 2026, the loophole is closed. Young kids, another 33-year-old, just as my daughter was, who is in that same situation, has 2 choices: die or go into medical bankruptcy. And now both my girls, my youngest and my oldest daughter, are RNs in Philadelphia, 2 different hospitals. And so they tell me all the time how patients come in by themselves and they leave by themselves. No family visits them, no family advocating for them. So think about what this change is going to mean for them. Think about the ripping apart of families because this evil, maniacal action of the president and his cronies to destroy really the fabric of America. And you think about Jeff Van Drew who went along with it. A man who's a congressperson for 3 of the poorest counties in the state of New Jersey. A man who voted for cuts to SNAP benefits. He voted for that Medicare plan. He voted to stop beach replenishment in his district where he has so many short lines. He did whatever Donald Trump told him to do. And he will continue to do whatever Donald Trump tells him to do. We have a different approach. Bear is 100% correct. We're gonna get rid of the old playbook. We have identified projects that are gonna make lives better. We have identified projects that are gonna help us relieve us with our school taxes. We have projects that's gonna help protect our LGBTQ community. We have myriad of policies. And I'll tell you this, I don't wanna bore you with being a wonk here. You could talk to me offline and I will tell you every single policy we're proposing and every single way we're gonna pay for it. Because if a politician tells you that, I have this, I wanna do that, and they can't tell you how they're gonna pay for it, you need to tell them to go sit down somewhere. Better yet, if you got a full can of soda, you know what to do with it. Because the bottom line is, we cannot afford another minute of this nonsense that is Trump and Van Drew and the MAGA Republicans. These people are tearing themselves apart. Look at the numbers. They are voting against their own interests because they believe in this cult-like leader and he's leading them to the cliff to their own destruction. So we're going to help them because I'm not going to be the Democratic congressman. I'm going to be the Democratic congressman who's elected, but I'm going to be everybody's congressman. And we're going to educate and we're going to make sure that people know that every proposal isn't just for the Democrats, it's for everyone. We are going to make sure that our community thrives. We get our fair share of the federal dollars. And everybody in this room probably knows we are the highest per capita tax. And yet we receive the lowest amount of money back to our state. And when the money does come back to our state, it tends to go up north. But we don't get a break on our taxes. So we have plans that make sure that the money comes here for our purpose. We have a school funding plan that will not have a state pass-through. Money has to come back to the districts. That being said, I gotta say the greatest form of flattery is when somebody imitates and copies you. And my opponents in this primary seem to be saying the same things I'm saying. They seem to be saying the same things I've been saying for years, particularly about Medicaid, Medicare, and school funding. So I gotta say, if you like my policy so much, why are you running against me? Right? So the reality is for us that we gotta stay vigilant, we gotta stay focused, we gotta make sure that we do everything we can to get me in that office so that I can do my job to get rid of every single evil executive order, every single evil law, get it rescinded. And I cannot do it without your help. You are here and I am so impressed with this turnout. It's phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you for launching this campaign. But now I need you to do the work. We have to raise a ton of money to reach people who aren't involved in politics. I need your help. Not just your own donations, but I need you to reach to your friends and to your family members and encourage them. We take $5. We love that. Because here's the truth of it all, folks. Yes, we need a lot more money than that. But if somebody's giving $5 because that's all they could give, that is a guaranteed vote. That's a guaranteed vote. We have the infrastructure. We have the people, the boots on the ground. We have worked for tirelessly since 2021. And we're not going to stop. We're ramping it up. We are hyper-focused, and the gloves are off. I have the truth against Van Drew, and he's going to hear it. Yes, we are going after him only with facts, but in a manner that is deserving of a person who has not done his job since he's been in office. With that, I don't believe in super long political speeches. I've been up here way too long, but I am here with you. You have questions, I will give you answers. Everywhere I go, any time of day, and by the way, I gotta thank Local 54 for being in the house. You know, that's my people there. And thank you to everyone who traveled down here. Dr. Geetrich, Mayor Minor, who's a very close friend. We have a podcast called Project 1863. Tune in, because we have some great guests. And we have, how can I forget it? And we have Indivisible in the house. Alice, yes. So I just want to make sure that I'm just so flattered by the amount of people who are here. I want you to feel my gratitude. So let's talk a lot. Let's get into the weeds about these policies I'm proposing. With that, enjoy yourself. Plenty of food, great bartenders. Make sure you tip your bartenders. And thank you again for coming out.